Welcome back. All our top stories can be found on our website. It's channelstv.com, youtube.com/channelsweb, where you can find all our top stories. Log on to m.channelstv.com for a live stream. You can also be part of the program. Use the hashtag State of the Nation and tweet at my handle. It's _Gimba Umar. And that is the Twitter handle. Let's get you in to be part of the show. You can begin to send your thoughts and your suggestions as we speak. Well, a Court of Appeal sitting in Yola, the Adamawa State capital, on Thursday reversed the impeachment of Murtala Nyako, was the governor of Adamawa State. Mr. Nyako was removed on July the 15th, 2014, after 17 of 25 members of the Adamawa State House of Assembly adopted the reports of a panel set up to investigate him for alleged corruption. The report found the governor guilty of all the 16 allegations of gross misconduct. But in its Thursday's ruling, the Court of Appeal ruled that the impeachment of Mr. Murtala Nyako as governor of Adamawa State in 2014 was not done in accordance with the provisions of the law. In the lead judgment read by Justice Tunde Ayotoye, all the judges unanimously agreed that Mr. Nyako was not given fair hearing in the impeachment proceedings. The judge said that the governor's rights was infringed upon, violated, and declared all the process that led to the impeachment null and void. Let's go live now to our studio in Abuja, where Emeka Ngige now joins us. As a senior advocate of Nigeria. I want to thank you so much indeed for making that time in your busy schedule to make this happen. Illuminate on this subject. What do you make of this interpretation? How could you interpret this judgment from the appeal court? Mr. Ngige, I want to thank you so much indeed. If you can hear me, I'm just asking you the question, what do you make of the appeal court's ruling on the impeachment of Murtala Nyako?
Well, thank you very much, Gimba. The Court of Appeal has decided on the impeachment that started since, I think, July of 2014 or thereabout. Nyako have won the decision at the Court of Appeal. For me, it is a classical case of getting a judgment and not getting justice. A case of where justice was delayed and justice was denied. The Court of Appeal ruled in his favor, but unfortunately he cannot get in as governor anymore because the tenure for that office expired May 2015. So that was it.
What does this
he got judgment
imply?
without justice.
What does this then imply to the judicial system as against your reasons that you just gave to us now? It's one call that came too late. What should the judiciary be doing now?
Sorry, I did not hear what you said last.
Yes, I'm just asking you that now that you've established that it was one case that came a little too late, a judgment too late to bear, what then should the judiciary be doing to forestall a recurrence of a situation like this?
I can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Interesting. Okay, what should the judiciary do to forestall a case like this from happening again?
Oh, it's very simple. Cases like this should be given a accelerated hearing. I expected the heads of court in charge of the case to have, ensured that the matter was given a accelerated hearing. That matter was delayed at the Federal High Court level. It was transferred from Yola to another division of the Federal High Court, and thereafter it was brought back to Yola And then another judge was brought in at a stage. That judge recused herself and later on came back and delivered judgment. And this took almost 8 to 9 months. And then he came to Court of Appeal. It was delayed again. It was not heard until we heard about the judgment. So I expect that cases involving tenure of office, impeachment, it should be given accelerated hearing, just like it was done in Ladoja's case. If you recall, in Ladoja's case, even though it was delayed also, but within 1 year, from the High Court to Court of Appeal to Supreme Court, the case was determined, and Ladoja was restored to his office as governor, even though he applied for the period wasted in the trial to be added. But the Supreme Court heard that it could not be extended, the tenure. So I expect the heads of court to ensure that when cases like this are filed in their court, to make sure that they are given accelerated hearing. You should direct the judges involved to give the cases day-to-day hearing.
Now that the courts have settled this long-drawn battle for Nyako, what advice would you give to the third tier of government at the state levels? Because the legislators are the ones who impeached the former governor.
I didn't get.
If you can hear me, I'm just asking you, what advice do you have for legislators at the state level?
To whom?
To the legislators at the state level, what advice do you have for them in this kind of situation?
Well, the legislature, they have done their own bit because, you know, the Constitution provided for the duration, the period for determination of impeachment. The legislature did their own bit. It was the challenge to that impeachment that took a lengthy time, you know, an inordinate length of time for its determination. And that was where justice was denied in terms of giving a barring judgment to the winner of the case. So for the legislature, they kept to their time because the Constitution said you must finish everything about impeachment within 90 days. And in this Nyako's case, I don't think they exceeded 30 days from the time that they moved the motion for impeachment, the time for constitution of the impeachment panel by the chief judge, and then the report to the House, and then the resolution to remove the governor. All this, I think, took place within 30 days. So from the legislative side, they are not to blame. It is when the challenge to that impeachment went to the court that the delay started. And I believe that such a thing should not be allowed to happen again. If the same thing happened in Enugu State, the deputy governor, Onyebuchi, challenged his impeachment for owning a poultry farm. He could not get justice until he left office. And he now won the matter. And I think they're going on appeal. But you can see that it's a barring judgment. The only thing he can gain is to get his allowances. And then maybe the person who had the office before when he was impeached could be said not to be a governor. So, for instance, Nyako can now be said to have finished his 4-year tenure based on this judgment.
So would you say,
that
should there not be,
appeal to the Supreme Court,
my apologies, if you just permit me to just ask this final question before I let you go, should there not be some kind of disciplinary actions to be taken by the courts themselves or whatever institution that will see to this? Should there be no measures taken against this impeachment? Did you get me? I'm asking you the question, shouldn't there be some kind of disciplinary measures taken in this kind of situation?
Well, what I can hear from you is whether there is any disciplinary measures.
Yes.
Disciplinary measures against who? Is it against the judges?
But of
or
course, the lawmakers who
the
instituted
lawyers?
this
Against
impeachment.
Who? Sorry?
The lawmakers who initiated this impeachment
It's
process.
breaking. I'm not.
I'm afraid that I'm going to have to just wind it up at this point. I want to thank you so much indeed. If you can hear me, Mr. Emeka Ngige, for speaking to us, the senior advocate of Nigeria, of course. Many thanks indeed for your time and your thoughts, speaking from our Abuja studio. Now, what more do we know about what is happening in the country as we speak? Today, there has been a debate on the status of the Naira. Should it be devaluated or not? And when should the devaluation option be canvassed by the government? Let's know your thoughts still. It's hashtag State of the Nation and at _ Gimba Umar. Cast your fears as Zika in the country is pushed aside. The federal government dismisses Zika's outbreak and says that Lassa fever and Zika can't coexist in Nigeria. And that's how the show has been today. I want to thank you so much indeed for being a part of it. I'm Gimba Umar, and this is State of the Nation.